Thanks for joining, everybody. My name is Georgi. People call me Double G. I'm a member of the product team on Quickbase. Super excited to be hosting this session on the intelligence pack. Today we'll cover four main pillars: the problem and the vision behind the pack, how it works inside Quickbase, the context that powers it, and how we've made sure that we're keeping trust, governance, and controls. AI is a jackhammer, and in order to make the most out of it, it must be easy to use. When thinking about how to bring AI inside Quickbase, we wanted to make sure that we have in mind all the business operational workflows of our users and making sure that this capacity of AI is properly integrated. We didn't want to just mess around with it or make a mess out of it. We wanted to make sure that AI is integrated in the way that you have the impact and the ROI without the learning curve associated to new introductions. And these two beliefs are integral to the decisions that we make about the AI in Quickbase, about the intelligence pack. For example, the AI agent, which is a central piece of the Intel pack, is a place where you can start with a very simple language request, and the tool is smart enough that it can deliver the expected result or an action without you having to do much. So the moment you type which projects are at risk, the agent can grasp the intent, understand which skill it needs to use from its own toolkit, check if you have the authorization to complete this action as a user, and then show you the result. So it's not a simple chatbot. It's not a chatbot. It's workflow intelligence. It's helping you on the steps that you need to take. And in addition to the AI agent, we have the other pieces of the toolkit, and they're all grounded in separate jobs to be done and separate flows that we've seen people try time and time again. And now with AI, they've become much faster and much easier to execute. I'm not getting so super deep into the specificities of each of those features. You might have tried them already. But for example, with app intelligence, you can understand what an app is about its structure, tables, relationship. And what used to take days or weeks, especially with the big gnarly apps, can now take minutes and hours. And same goes to the data analyzer. You have predictive analytics on the tip of your fingers, AI actions, which allows you to move from unstructured to structured data, the control center, which is the agile control piece where you can switch on or off any of those, and the knowledge layer, which is coming soon, but it will allow you not to waste time piling through SOPs and docs, but to be able to access those via the AI agent. And that's going to be super exciting. So this experience is grounded in your specific live Quickbase context. It's not generic. It's coming from your schema, from your data, from your user intent, and we carry deep respect from your permissions and roles. Our goal was not to sprinkle AI so that you access some generic advice online, or to simply have some manuals and you need to do stuff on your own all the time. This was not the case. As I already showed it in the examples of the features that we already have, those were steps we were already seeing people try to execute, and now AI is making stuff much easier. When I first joined Quickbase, this was 2 years ago, most of those didn't exist. And it would take me a while to do all the stuff myself. Like I was given an old app to see how it looks and feels, to learn what it's about. I was supposed to build an app myself. I was supposed to edit an app myself manually. And it would take forever, especially for a new user. But now with the AI agent and with all this additional bolts and needs inside the system, it's much easier. Another core principle is the fact that AI operates only with each user's permissions. It cannot change or see anything that the users wouldn't do themselves. I put an emphasis on impact and ease of use, but we never forget about roles and permissions, about the fact that we need to lock activities so admin can see how AI is being used. And centrally, using the AI control center, admins control who gets which AI feature and which capabilities are enabled. We listened to your feedback from a couple of years ago, and we realized that a feature like the control center would be integral to the AI experience because each of our use cases and the different realms might have different requirements and different blend of features, especially as we build on top of those. So this was something that we really carefully crafted in a manner that it's still helping you prioritize and enable what really matters inside the realms. That's what I had to say to you about uh, the Intel Pack today, but I'm very deeply interested about your feedback, what questions you have, and for example, what's a feature that saves you the most of the time or something that keeps you up at night that's making you really frustrated. All types of feedback, it's more than welcome.
I guess I haven't gotten to use like the AI features that much. So, what are some instances that like you feel that it is extremely helpful for maybe some of your users?
Should I pick my favorite feature?
Sure, yeah, please. Like I know I got the trial after Empower, but I've been too busy to try anything. So by all means, tell
All
me what your
right.
favorite stuff is.
All right. Okay, you got me. I really like the AI app intelligence. It's something that I hear for a lot of people that especially when apps change hands or you're building a big app for a while. I have many folks come to me and say, hey, we've been building this since 2012 and we've no idea what's inside. They run an app intelligence summary, they spend an hour and they realize that, hey, yeah, that's totally out of control. We need to do something. And then they decide what to do. But this one is maybe the easiest that you can try. Like you need to be an app admin and you click a button and it's generating a summary on the app. And it's really cool. Like I would inherit some apps related to my work as a PM, and they come with a lot of historical data. And it was really interesting to see how PM processes would evolve in the past like 5, 10 years. And it would generally take me about maybe a week to go through this app myself, like clicking all the tables, all the schema relations, and like whatnot. So that's one when you can like very quickly, easily hit the ground running, and yeah, it's pretty much right through the door.
I mean, that sounds great. Like as a software developer, like documentation is a big thing, and when we
Yeah.
see these, apps, like, that's a nightmare. I'm kind of curious for the AI control center. What type of governance controls does it give it like over our users, right? Because I mean, I look at some of my users and I've got 70 different roles and 150 different users. It can be a nightmare, looking at some of that. Does that give us capabilities to kind of control that or audit that more simply?
So when you go into the realm view settings in the AI control center, uh, once in the AI controls, you can switch on and off skills related to AI, not only to the AI pack, but to broadly AI. So for instance, you can switch off spreadsheet import. Like that's an opportunity. But when it comes to permissions, you should be able to determine specific users or specific groups if they should use a certain feature or not. This is how it goes.
Hi, this is Josie. Our team hasn't started using the tool yet. We're working with our IT department to get approval to start using the trial. So I'm just hopping on these meetups to learn as much as I can before that. But this was very helpful and insightful, and thank you.
You're welcome.
So yeah. So we can get started here. So I'm going to show you how to utilize the control center within the admin console. Honestly, pretty straightforward. So feel free if you have any questions to chime in here. But I'll go ahead and share my screen quickly. All right. And over here, I'm in the admin console now. I'm just going to get this out of my way. The Zoom controls always are in their exact worst spot. Okay. So when you get into the admin console now, you'll now see under security and permissions the AI controls option here. And this is where you're going to govern all of the AI features across the platform as a whole. So from here, you can turn all AI on and off, and then from there, you have the ability to toggle on and off either various types of ways to build with our AI, various ways to analyze and understand your data through AI, as well as the agent itself and the various actions that you can use within utilizing the agent. So from there, you have the ability to create and update records, build fields, relationships, formulas, or summarize app data. Also, really important to keep in mind, we have this little disclaimer here at the top, so this could be pretty useful for any folks that need to interact with their IT department. So Quickbase never trains AI models on your data, and your data is not retained by any of the Quickbase AI technology providers. So might be an important distinction to point out if that comes up at all. And outside of this, again, like I said, this is just the platform level controls. But then within that, you can then go back to permissions. So anyone here, I'm guessing, are likely Realm admins as well. So just like you can with pipelines, you can set specific AI features here as well. So you have the option to have, just all users with all of those AI features turned on from the previous page. You can have specific users with all of those features turned on, or the most granular is you're going to have specific users with specific AI features turned on. And if you toggle that on, you'll then see down here at the bottom, there's going to be a new column for AI features. And essentially, this is just a multi-select text of all of the various features that we've previously enabled. So from here, you can set exactly what you want either individuals to have, groups to have, or even specific email domains within your realm. Um, and that's pretty much it, really. And the one other caveat I would say is, in my experience, toggling these things on and off, you might notice like a 5 minute or so delay until it's functioning. So it might just take a few beats until it's shows up exactly as you've said it here. So yeah, I mean, this was a quick one. So I'll pause here if there's any questions from the group. Another thing I could also point out here is within this page, you'll notice what's just included AI features and what is actually within our intelligence package. So you'll see like the agent calls out the intelligence package. You'll see data analyzer, app intelligence, as well as the AI actions pipelines channel. So good to know what's available and what's not, depending. So and what's in beta as well. Yep, and actually right there, it may take up to 5 minutes to apply, like I mentioned. We have some time. It looks like, okay, we got something in the chat here. Are the non-intelligence package feature available to all plans? Great question. I believe they are. I would have to just double check that. But we should have some help documentation on that that we could provide.
This is the governance core apps. There's 3 applications total that make up the governance core apps. You have Admin Console Sync Hub, Realm Logger, and Realm Insights. So I will install these inside of a client space. So governance core apps, here's the 3 applications: Admin Console Sync Hub, Realm Insights, and Realm Logger. And I'll just give you a brief tour of them so you can kind of see where I'm coming from. So Admin Console Sync Hub, what this is a series of tables that come from your admin console, and they just come in a table format, right? From a Quickbase perspective into an app. So then I take all of this information. I kind of call this the engine, if you will, and then Realm Insights takes that information and brings it to life inside of here. So now that you have a Quickbase table, right, you can ask questions to Quickbase Intelligence about this application, right, to get insights on the overall health of your realm or whatnot. So I'm going to float a couple questions here just to kind of give you guys an idea. And of course, I'd be willing to take any, questions from the group, you know what I mean? As far as like, I don't know if somebody has curiosity around any of these, but you can see it's apps, users, shows all of your user tokens, pipelines, so on and so forth. So just to get started, Rina from Bulgaria, she had came to Empower, and she actually had a session there. Kind of the same thing. So I clicked Quickbase AI, and the first question she posed was, which apps haven't been accessed in the last 90 days? So then once I sort of, ask whatever questions are important to me, right? Like it's going to be specific to each person. Sees the application table, sees last access, it's going to give me a report out, right? So obviously from this, these are the ones that have not been accessed in the last 90 days is what it says. And there's a lot more of these, right? So then I can take this, once I'm done with my discussion, I'm going to copy this whole payload into a large language model to make a little bit more sense of things, if that makes sense. So I can also, within the governance core apps, click last access range, right? And there's a list of applications. I can click into them and go into those. So this is kind of an example of how you can get at this information by asking the large language model, but you can also get at it from a reporting perspective. What I'm more interested in longer term, right, is having some so who deleted records in the construction management application last week, for instance? This was another question she had asked. So this is kind of a tricky one. We have audit logs in here. We have delete. I don't even know if it'll find this. No deletion records were found. But if I ask it more pointed questions, right, around like audit logs in general. So if I look at audit logs, I look at, let's see, the create actions, the delete actions, so on and so forth. I'm trying to minimize this guy for a second. See delete actions. So create actions, for instance. Got a new laptop 2 days ago. I'm still struggling a little bit. So create, right? These are create actions that come in. So let's kind of reframe that question and say, what has been created in this realm. And let's see if it can, gain those insights. So what I'll do is I'll send out a kind of like a handful of sample questions just to kind of get you thinking on questions I would ask the application, if you will. But if you start to see these creation activities in the realm, they did table create relationship, blah, blah, blah. That all tracks. It's right here. But you see, as you start to gain insight on some of this stuff, I'm still building this chat history out because definitely not done. So which users have been deactivated but still appear in app roles? So let's ask that question. I'm just building a handful of questions out based on the data that's warehoused inside of this application. So which apps have been modified is the next one. So there's no deactivated users. This is modified in every year. And then this is the last question I'm going to ask it, and just to give you guys a sample set of information. So this one was not modified in over a year, all these applications. And, I've seen people ask way, way more complicated questions than what I just asked, but I'm just kind of giving you a feel for this. So table shows blah, 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 show me a summary. And then once we have all of these, what I'll do is take it into Claude to then take this information and synthesize it. So seriously, I think I just cleared the whole chat window because we still have, let's see. Yes, still there. Awesome. All right. So grab all this information from start to finish. I would love to have a copy function. I don't think you can copy, but you can only copy per section in the current state. So drag all this down, copy this, and then hold control, open up Claude. I have a new session, of course. Just put up this account real quick. Continue. All right. All right. So hit this. I need guidance on, or a summary, right? Summary of this information in a format leadership can understand and also perform a cleanup strategy with timelines. So obviously, I just threw a bunch of stuff in there. Here's the payload. Now I kind of let that thing output. So while that's thinking, I'll go ahead and show you something else while we're kind of looking at that. So this is an example. I'm pulling up Outlook. I'm going to show you kind of a canned email message that I share with people that, after I get done presenting to them or whatnot, I'll give them a series of files. And I tell them to put it in their large language model of choice, whatever that may be, and ask it questions. So this is the canned email message that I send. It'll say, name, client, blah, blah, blah. And then here's some of the documentation that I send out, right? So what I advise clients to do is, let's say, for instance, I'm going to upload all these attachments. I'm going to save. I want to save all these attachments. Guess we'll just put it in OneDrive. So within OneDrive, they all just disappeared. Let's see. Sorry. I'm just going to download these, send them to myself. All right. So let's say save as. I'm doing them one at a time. I thought you could save all your attachments at one time, but I'm showing my ignorance here. So let's say documents. And then inside of here, just kind of go down the line. Thought there was a multiple save as button. If anybody knows and can save me the hassle, tell me. But otherwise, we'll go one by one. Maybe it's because it's a draft email and I'm sending it out versus receiving it. Blah, blah, blah. So then what I do is, does anybody on the call, do they use large language models? Are you guys using? I mean, outside of like making a unicorn blow up birthday candles on a cake or something, like, are you guys using it for work? Anybody? I mean, I can't see, like, is there anybody on the call? Like, you can just speak.
So Christopher says he does, but with
Awesome.
no further details.
Okay,
I certainly
perfect.
do, but I'm not sure I'm the audience here.
So in this situation, I have a project folder. I click new. Let's say I'm working on governance, Quickbase. Want to craft a good governance strategy for my organization, and then create project. So now that I've done this, you can actually attach your files. So you can say add files, connectors, blah, blah, blah. I just click the plus sign, in files, upload from device, and then we put them in that folder called documents, all these guys. Now you've created sort of a repository that you can ask questions about, what would your first steps be? Let's say 5 big rocks to get after when taking over a Quickbase realm. And then it uses this as context. I click send. So we've got 2 things kind of running here. We've got this one, and then we have the other one that I'm going to open up here momentarily. So while it's working on that one, go back to the chats. I had the executive summary and cleanup strategy. Obviously, this is pretty loaded. Personally, I love making HTML files and code pages and showing that to leadership. Not going to do that in the short time that we have here, but let's say here's the executive briefing, blah 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 blah. So it totally gives you a plan, right? And then you can present said plan to leadership. I need a PDF to email. And now you're aligned with leadership on a plan to get after your realm and clean up space. Not going to be the best of examples, but does this resonate? Make sense with anybody? I mean, is this something people are doing? Do you manage your realm?
Chris
Anybody?
responded and said that he used Claude today to suggest a Quickbase table schema and dashboard report layout.
Solid. Like in a code page?
Well, the issue I was trying to solve is kind of create a change log for the application, and Claude suggested a change log table because I have very poor change control right within apps. I think I'm normal in that.
Yep.
So
no, that's really cool. So like that's something.
It even shot out a whole Quickbase dashboard looking layout and how to create the individual reports to put in the dashboard. So yeah, it was pretty slick. I didn't quite get that really far yet, but
yeah, and it's great for like getting the creative juices flowing. And there might be time in another time, Chris, to kind of like show you some stuff that I've done with Claude and GitHub to do version control code pages. It's really slick. But obviously that's not what this is about. But could you create me a Quickbase changelog table? And you recommend some fields, right?
Yeah, I didn't do it within the Quickbase AI. I just did it.
Well, so this is Claude 2. Just to let
okay.
you know, the model it's running right now, it's lightweight. It's haiku, but as you can see right here, table name, let's call it changelog, right? Let's are there recommended fields? Good. Yep. And then entry. And then they're just gonna make the table. It's gonna make all the fields. And I do this, and I shared this on the last one. And there's a couple of stragglers from the last call that we had. I have a skill within Claude that helps me to prompt for QBI. And then it outputs all the field names and the field IDs and the table IDs. And then I take that and put it back into Claude to make nice code pages on top of it. So if I click, you see changelog here, table's already made. And then obviously it's inside of here and ready to go. To probably deal with the pipeline to change old and new values, but pretty cool.